Now in its 10th year, this is GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey, boobity pop 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 poppity poppy pop pop pop. Hey everybody, this is Alex, and this, of course, is the Ramble. Ladies and gentlemen, we go to San Francisco, and the one and only Larry Bubbles Brown. Hello,
Yes.
Lawrence.
Hello, Alex.
How are you?
Good, good. I got a call from somebody that heard us last week, an old friend, Mark Pitta.
Oh, really? You heard us? Oh,
Uh-huh.
okay. That's great. I'm glad. At least we have one listener.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's retired in Vegas.
He's retired. He's not doing anything.
Said he stopped performing, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people have stopped performing, you know. And Pitta was one of the decent ones. He, I never considered him, the greatest, of course. We know some of the greatest, but I always liked Mark, and he...
He's a very, very strong comic, yes.
Very strong comic, and as I got to know him in later years, when he wasn't my competitor, because you remember he was on an opposite station opposite me for a short time, as were several other people who failed. Am I right about that? He was...
No, Mark was never on radio.
Oh, really?
No.
Who am I thinking about? Oh,
I'm thinking Marty Cohen.
Marty Cohen. Oh, yeah. Why did I think it was Mark Pitta? I don't know. Oh, well. I'm getting too old for this stuff. Anyway, so I'm going to put on my other earphones again. Oh, this is getting ridiculous with me. But I always liked Mark. He was a decent guy, and as I got to know him in later years, he even got more decent. So, it was terrific.
Mm-hmm.
It was really terrific. And in fact, he came. Did he come here at some point? Yeah, he did. And I got to see him and talk with him, and he was, I think, a decent guy. But anyway,
Yeah, I'm disappointed he's not performing anymore. He's really good.
Well, a lot of people are not performing anymore. I mean, Slayton quit performing.
That's true, yeah.
I mean, he does do an occasional gig, when the money's right and he feels like it. But he gave up on the industry because it just has changed, and what people expect out of a comic has changed, hasn't it, when you say?
Well, yeah, what Bobby's act would be, I think, if a younger audience saw him, their heads would pop off.
Well, I mean, Bobby, I think, really could deserve some specials on, like, Netflix and so on.
Oh,
Because that's where he could
yeah.
find his present-day audience. So, But anyway, I'm a little discombobulated today for some reason. Got up several hours ago, and I've been, like, out of kilter today. I don't know what it is, but you probably have those days too now.
Oh, I never sleep well. I'll get up early, I'm up for 2 hours, and I'll fall asleep for 2 hours, and I never get 8 straight hours of sleep.
Well, I take a pill. I take Tylenol nighttime. So that's kind of Tylenol with a drug that is kind of in Benadryl, and it puts me to sleep. So, and then I wake up and I'm groggy for about the first 2 hours that I'm awake, and you caught me in my groggy time.
Well, maybe I should try that if it works.
Well, it's pretty, if you take Benadryl to put yourself to sleep or something like Tylenol nighttime, it's not a dangerous drug in any way. It just, has antihistamine and it puts you to sleep. So why not?
Yeah.
Because as you get older, it's harder to get to sleep. I don't know why. It should be because you're practicing for death, and I just never understood why, So And so, what have you been doing? Anything interesting? Do you go to the movies? Do you watch television? What do you?
No, I don't. I know the Oscars were on recently. I don't know anything that was on there. So.
What do you mean? Any of the movies?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I saw all of them, but that's because I get the SAG-AFTRA screeners.
Oh, you get the screen.
Yeah, so I got to watch, at least for the SAG Awards, I got to watch all the films. And, I think what won this year was a Nora, and I think it was a very good film. So, wasn't a bad winner. And I thought Mikey Madison was terrific, So it was okay. But you don't know who I'm talking about, or the movies I'm talking about. See? No. So what do you do when you sit there in your apartment? I mean, how many hours a day are you in your apartment?
Very few. I go out and run, then I drive around, I come home and go to bed. I did look up some Oscar trivia for you, though.
Oh, okay. Well, lay it on me.
Okay. Now I knew this was okay. I didn't know there's one silent movie that won the Oscar for Best Picture.
Well, that was because when the Oscars were first awarded, I think it was in 1927. There weren't any sound pictures. So, obviously, a silent film was going to win for Best Picture. And that picture was, are you ready? Mm-hmm. Look at what you're testing me with.
I got it right here in front of me.
Wings.
Wing, God, you're right, yes.
But that wasn't the only winner for Best Picture. Do you know that?
They might have had two in one year.
Well, they had one for Best Artistic Achievement. And that went to, was it Sunrise? Was the name of the picture? Yeah. Done by a European director. And it is a much better... Wings is a good film. Sunrise is a much better film. And it won for Best Artistic Achievement, but they always say Wings was the first winner of the Academy Award. Well, because it won the Best Picture, but it didn't win Best Artistic Achievement. But that category was done away with after the first Academy Awards. God, I know too much.
You do.
And Wings starred in it. One of my favorite actresses, silent actresses of all time. I still get a hard-on thinking about her, Clara Bow.
Clara Bow, who?
Yeah, and she
had a wild reputation.
Well, she had a wild reputation, but it wasn't deserved. Here was the story with Clara Bow. You want a little Clara Bow information? Everybody who's listening, come on. I'm going to tell you all about Clara Bow. She was maybe one of the most popular actresses in silent films. She did a film called It and became known as the It Girl. And she was, I think, adorable. I mean, I look at her and my heart just, in certain pictures where they made her upright, my heart just sinks. I mean, she's that adorable. And she was hated in Hollywood because she came from Brooklyn, and she still had that thick Brooklyn accent. And she just exuded cheap. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So she didn't fit in with the Hollywood crowd. They wouldn't even invite her to parties. So she would invite people to her home, and at one point she, I think the UCLA football team or something, she invited them all over to her house for a party. And the rumor got around that she screwed every one of them. Well, it wasn't true. She wasn't that loose. She was, you want to know what a wonderful person she was, really? She got a letter from a fan that said, I'm down in Long Beach, and I sell, I don't know what it was, apples or something on the boardwalk in Long Beach. And if you came by and bought one, you would help my sales and help me feed my family. So she went down there and helped him sell apples. or whatever the thing was he was selling. Now, nobody else in Hollywood would have done something like that. But huh?
So we can forgive her for banging the football team.
She didn't bang the football team, okay? Forget that. Then sound came along, and they say, oh, sound ruined Clara Bow. No, Clara Bow hated sound. I mean, there's a story where once she was doing a scene in a sound film, and the microphone came down, and she started hitting it. She just so hated the idea of sound films because she had learned how to do her craft in sounds. But she did about 4 sound films, and they're all terrific. And she's terrific in them. And yeah, she had a little bit of that accent from Brooklyn, but that kind of made her different and adorable. And in fact, in one of these pictures, she sang and danced, and she was terrific. But she just couldn't stand doing this. So she decided to quit the business. And she went out and she married a guy who was, I think, in movies for a short time. And then he became a congressman. And she moved to Arizona, I think, was the state that he lived in, or maybe New Mexico. And they spent the rest of their time there. And she just quit. She
got out.
She just got out. She didn't want it anymore. And she retired at, I think, if I'm correct, 27 years old.
Wow.
28, something like that. And never went back to films again. Left her husband in later years and moved to New York and lived in a dingy little apartment. And it's really a sad story, but it's also a story about a pretty wonderful woman that Hollywood didn't like because she didn't fit in. You know, and so they made all kinds of stories about her and how she was cheap and how she was having sex with everybody, you know, and so on and so forth. She didn't have sex with famous people. She, I think, had sex with one of her co-stars in Wings. Well, he had a small part, Gary Cooper. And then she also had a relationship with the director of Gone with the Wind and the Wizard of Oz. I'm trying to remember his name right now. She had a lot of famous lovers, but she wasn't what you would call any more promiscuous probably than other people in Hollywood. But they just didn't like her because she just didn't fit in. She wasn't part of the society in Hollywood. So, but she was a good person, and it was really sad. The kind of life that happened to her. I often say to myself, gee, I hope when I die, there is a heaven, and I go up there and I get to meet Clara Bow. You know.
Well, somebody should do a movie about her.
Okay, there's my lecture for today on Clara Bow. I may be wrong about a few things about her, but basically, she was terrific. And she was good in her pictures, too, by the way. She wasn't terrible. There are other people in Hollywood who were misunderstood. One was William Randolph Hearst's lover of untold years, and that was Marion Davies. And there were all kind of stories about Marion Davies because, you know, she was living with William Randolph Hearst, and he had a movie production company called Cosmopolitan Pictures, and she made all her films for him. But she was really good. You know, so there are all kinds of rumors and stories about her. But the best story is that during the Depression, Hearst lost every penny he had. Okay? And Marion Davies, in her time, was very good with money. And she owned Columbus Circle in New York City.
She owned it?
She owned all the buildings around
Jesus.
Columbus Circle. So when he was going broke and he almost had to give up the whole Hearst empire, she saved it by giving him $1 million. Now, in those days, $1 million did save you. And she saved William Randolph Hearst. If any, you know, she wasn't his, she loved him, okay? Plain and simple. She adored him. I think she called him Pops. And she adored him and saved his empire. So to think of her as some kind of this floozy who was taking advantage of a rich guy, no. She had, if she left him one day, she would have more than enough money on her own to survive. And so Mary, and it's even, they say Citizen Kane that the female character in that film is based on Marion Davies, and according to Orson Welles, it wasn't. And people assume that because that's the lover of Charles Foster Kane in Citizen Kane. But he said, no, he said, I wouldn't base it on her because she was a very, very talented person. And she had a great Hollywood career and was a decent person. So
Wow.
even Orson Welles said, lay off of her. Anyway, so that's my stories for today. How did you like that? Okay?
Those are good,
Little
yeah.
lecture. And you just asked me about wings. That's all you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What's your next Oscar question?
Okay, the only X-rated film to win Oscar for Best Picture.
Only X-rated film, I believe, was Midnight Cowboy.
You're 2 for 2.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. The reason it was the only X-rated, today that film is rated R, believe it or not, is that it was the first time that rating had come out, or the whole rating system had come out, and they considered that picture an X. But it didn't stand for pornography. It stood for adult material. Eventually, the Academy did away with the X rating, and the reason they did is because porno films appropriated it.
Yeah.
And so all porno films say, "Oh, X rated, triple X," right? They came up with the triple X.
Triple X.
And so the Academy decided, let's do away, or not the Academy, the Motion Picture Organization, the MPAA, I think it was, decided to do away with the X rating because it had been appropriated. And I think they came out with, they had R. R was the highest. So anyway, that's the story with the Midnight Cowboy. It really isn't what you would call a X-rated picture.
Yeah, pretty tame, actually.
Yeah, or as I put it, there's no penetration. Okay. Anyway, next Oscar question.
The only actor to receive Best Oscar posthumously.
Oh, jeez. Is he somehow in the 30s and 40s?
No.
Okay, Best Actor then had to be recently. I'm trying to remember. I know that somebody did. I know that, for instance, what's his name who did Batman, the Batman movie?
Not bad.
River Phoenix, was it? Yeah. River Phoenix won for... No, not River Phoenix. Who was the guy who won for Batman? He died of, I think, a drug overdose.
Oh, Heath Ledger.
Keith Ledger. He won for Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah, this is for Best Actor.
And he got it posthumously. I'm trying to think who won posthumously. Could it be Pete? No, not Peter Finch. Not
Peter Finch.
Peter Finch. Okay.
For Network, I believe.
Yep. So I'm 3 for 3.
3 for 3.
Okay.
You're on fire.
Yeah, I'm a little woozy here, so I'm having a hard time coming up with these. But go ahead. Number 4. I'll probably miss this one. Right.
Can you 2 Best Pictures won the Oscar that had co-directors?
That one I don't think I know. Is one of them recently?
One of them fairly recently, yeah.
What year? Tell me what year.
2008.
2008. Jeez almighty. I should know that. You know what the problem with the Oscars is, Bubs?
Yeah.
Who won last year?
Yeah.
I can't remember, and neither can most people. You know, it's a big night. Everybody goes, oh, Nora won, blah, 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 blah. And then next year you ask them, who won last year? Best Picture, Best Actress, and they can't tell you. So it's kind of hard to go back to 2008. I'm going to have to pass on this one. I can't remember.
Yeah, that was the Coen brothers, No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, but who was dead?
Who was what?
What the question was, what picture?
Co-directors.
Co-directors. Oh, okay. All right. You see, I completely lost it. I would have probably come up with the Coen brothers because they directed all their pictures together.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
The other was a musical.
The other one was a musical. Oh, boy. I really don't know on that one.
West Side Story.
West Side Story had two directors? No, it didn't.
Robert Wise and Jerome Robbins.
Well, Jerome Robbins directed the dancing, but he didn't direct the movie. Robert Wise directed the movie. I mean, when you look on screen and it says directed by, it says Robert Wise.
Huh. Okay. Well, it was.
I had the worst thing I ever did in radio. You may have been there. Was I had Robert Wise on as a guest.
I was there. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm interviewing him, asking him all kinds of questions. We're talking about the movie I think he had done at the time, which was a Star Trek film or something like that. And I'm asking him all these questions, and I'm finished with the interview, and I thank him, and he goes away. And all of a sudden, I remember that he was the editor on Citizen Kane.
Citizen Kane.
And I didn't ask him a single question about that because had I remembered that, that probably would have been the entire interview. Yeah. But Robert Wise, Jerome Robbins was credited as directing the dance numbers. But I don't know that I find it hard to believe that Jerome Robbins won an Academy Award for that. But
well, I got it off the trivia sheet, so we'll have to double check.
Yeah. Okay. So next question. That one I didn't get. So I'm 3 for.
Next question: the only two Oscar-winning films that had Oscar-winning sequels.
Oh well, The Godfather.
Mm-hmm.
Had Godfather 2.
And Godfather 2 was actually a better movie.
In many ways, a better movie. I don't know. I go back and I watch the old Godfather, and I go, yeah, it's pretty good, And then I watch, of course, 2, and it is. It's the only time I've ever seen actually a sequel become better than the original.
Yeah.
But it won the Academy Award, and then what else would have won a sequel? So I'm. What is it, 4 for 4.5 or something?
Yeah, Lord of the Rings, which I have no knowledge of.
Oh, Lord of the Rings, and it won another one for the next picture,
yeah.
For the sequel. I don't even remember it winning the Academy Award. That's
Me either.
And my brain usually is pretty good about this, So, is that it?
Got one more.
One more. Okay, here we go.
This man directed his father and daughter in their Oscar-winning performances.
Father and daughter in their Oscar-winning performances. I'm going to have to say, well, that would either be Paper Moon, which was father and daughter, but the other one was on Golden Pond.
No, I think I'm phrasing the question wrong.
Oh, okay.
The director of this movie directed his father. The father won an Oscar. And in another movie, he directed his daughter, and she won an Oscar.
Oh, okay. Wow. No, it wasn't Kirk Douglas. It wasn't. Boy, that's a really tough question. He directed his father, and then he directed his daughter, and she won.
Yeah.
It wasn't the Fondas, was it?
No.
Okay. Who was the director, though?
Very well-known director.
I know, a very well-known director.
One of your favorites.
One of my favorites?
I think so.
Hmm. Give me a hint of some sort.
Let's see. The father that won the Oscar was in a movie. The movie also starred Humphrey Bogart.
Also starred Humphrey Bogart. Oh boy. Oh boy. Was it John Huston?
John Huston.
John Huston. Okay, good. Good. Hey, listen, we've run out of time here.
Yes, trivia just ate up the minutes.
I hope I haven't talked too much in doing my professorial duties here.
No, you did great, and you did. You only. I think you were 5.5 or 7 on the trivia.
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, John Huston directed in, we're running over here, but he directed his father, John Huston, in Treasure of the Sierra Madre. Yeah, and then he directed his daughter, who was Angelica Huston, but I can't remember which picture.
I didn't write the picture down for that one.
I can see it in my head, however. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so good. That's a great question, by the way.
Okay, cool.
Anyway, thank you so much, Larry Bubbles Brown. Can we do this again next week?
Yes, I'll see you next week.
We better. Bye.
Yeah. Now in its 10th year, this is GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
And there's Larry Bubbles Brown, another week with Larry. Good. Thank you, Larry. I appreciate Larry doing those things for me. 300, I think, and 65. What was that? It was 65, I think, that one. 365 times. Okay. Anyway, it's time, I think, to go to our people. We got some people waiting here, and they're all quality folks, as it were. And that would make for a quality show. Okay, let's bring them up here. There's Kilroy, and there is yes, you're probably okay, Jeff. It looks to me like you've got your audio and everything. You there?
I am here.
You see? Okay, now let's move your camera so that it's there we go. Such a handsome putum. Thank you.
Nice, thank you.
Charlie Wallace, thank you for being here. Of course, our old friend Josh Wheeler is here as well. And joining us again tonight is Kevin, who also sent me a picture. You guys probably won't be able to see it there, but let me try and let me see here. Where do I have, what button do I push? Where are they? I don't have them. Oh, I thought I had it here, so that I could show it to you. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. That's weird, because I should be able to bring the picture up. Oh, well, I don't know where it is. Anyway, he sent me a picture. Tell him what you sent a picture of, Kevin.
It's that one in Messenger. The main highway here. Mm-hmm. That 101, everybody knows 101 in San Jose, South San Jose. Every week, mm-hmm. These Trump people go out there and put up their flags and slow down traffic and screw it up for 3 or 4 hours every Friday night. This week they added a swastika to it.
Yeah, I don't
right next to the American flags.
Yes, sir.
I'm usually able to show this, but I can't find the thing for my video for that. Let me see here. Maybe pick one, pick two. No, that's not it. It's where I bring up the cameras, and I don't have it here. This is strange.
Save it and then just pull it off.
No, I have a button here that is supposed to bring it up, but let me do it anyway. I can do it here this way. I believe I go to computer. And there we go, and there people can see it. There, they see that the what do you call it? I'll show you here with see the Nazi flag, and right next to it the American flag, and right next to it a Trump flag. Boy, I wonder how Trump feels. I wonder how Trump feels about that.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Yeah,
it's a little delayed.
Yeah, I brought it up there, but you guys can see it now. You know, come on.
This
Yeah.
is like 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
I mean, I can only tolerate this long enough, you know. I was going to say tonight that I'm just completely disgruntled. Hold on a second. Let me blow my nose because, well, I'll just do that. Because I was sneezing there. Let me see here. Somebody iPad 3. Well, let me just put my picture up here for a second, and we'll bring this person in and see who they are. Because
Friday night.
huh? No, oh
Friday
no.
night.
There it is. Okay, there he is. Okay, that's all right. We're home free.
Almost as
Please,
bad as porn.
please get instead of saying iPad, why don't you have it say breathe? Then I won't have to go to my picture for a while, and people don't have to see the ugliness that is me.
Oh, that was fast.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm not sure why it did that. Not sure why it did that.
Well, oh, there it is. You just changed it to Brie. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Good. Anyway, no, I'm very discouraged lately. I just feel that we're getting to a point here where we are in great danger of losing our democracy. All the things.
It's already gone.
Well, all the things are being.
America no.
Well, wait a minute.
America no longer exists.
Well, you may well be right. What's happening is step by step, there have been steps taken that are slowly eroding away at everything. And he's did it so fast that we can't catch up to it. The courts can't catch up to it. The Senate
That's
can't
right.
catch up to it. Nobody can catch up to it.
Well, that's always been his game plan.
It's been his game plan.
Alex, did you hear the one thing that I was really disappointed is VOA?
Oh,
I really
I was
like
going to
that
mention that
operation.
tonight. I was going to mention that tonight. More than that, not only VOA, VOA and the Voice of America and the Voice of Asia, or what is it? Wait a minute. It's Asia Free.
I toured them. Radio Free Liberty, Radio.
Yeah,
Europe.
the Asian component of Radio Free Europe, Radio Free Asia. Okay, I just got it right. The people who work there, many of them are like Chinese citizens and so on, who decided they wanted to work on the side of America to get the truth of what's going on in China to everybody. And now, when they are being let go, they can be deported back to China, which, you know, what's going to happen then to them. You know, they're either going to be executed, or they're going to be thrown in jail for the rest of their lives, and we're doing nothing to protect them. You know, I mean,
But if we make a mistake, we can go back and figure that out.
we'll figure that out later.
Yeah.
I just saw the thing tonight on the. I don't know if you've been watching the CBS Evening News, but it's gotten really good. Because what they do is I go and I watch NBC, and it's, you know, it was the Heathrow story and some other story and whatever. They started off the whole night with about a 5-6 minute segment on what's happening to all these people that are being deported. And some of the ones who are being deported aren't even guilty of anything. And now they're going to rot away in a Venezuelan prison for the rest of their lives.
There's so many stories.
Yeah.
It's not just Venezuela. It's unbelievable.
Yep.
It's unbelievable.
One of the guys who was deported down there and is sitting there, and I think in either a Nicaraguan jail or wherever they're sending them, was picked up because he had a tattoo, and it was a soccer tattoo. And they thought it was a gang tattoo, so they threw him on a plane and sent him down there. And probably now they can't even find him, you know, because we don't have any records on these things. I mean, it is just horrible what we're doing to people who are Americans. You know, it's so depressing to me. And I don't know, you know, what more I can say about it. There's nothing we can do about it. The courts say, don't fly that plane down there, and Trump says, fuck you.
Yeah.
You know, And what can
there was an interview I saw with a guy, and he said, the judge says this and Trump says no to it. What happens? He said, oh, well, we'll have a constitutional crisis. And then he said, okay, and then what? And he said, I don't know.
No, but you
the
see, the thing
expert.
is, under normal conditions, if he had violated that order, the federal court could have actually thrown him in jail or arrested him or charged him with a crime, but they can't now because it's in the pursuit of his duties that this thing happened, and so therefore the Supreme Court has given him a get out of jail free card. You know, it's just it's just horrible what's happened, and I don't know where this all ends, but somebody's got to. I don't know. I just have no idea. I have no idea what we can do about it. So you know, and they had the story on there about Radio Free Asia, and they had the story about all these people are being sent away, and they even had an interview with the pregnant wife of the person who was arrested here in New York City and sent down to a detention area. It's not a prison because he's not supposedly imprisoned. He is being detained in Louisiana at the facility down there before he gets deported. And he has a green card. You know, he has every right to be here. And he has every right to disagree with the government's policies as well.
Alex, did you hear the one about the couple? They have a 10-year visa. They got in the wrong lane when they were near Mexico. And they said, sorry, we got in the wrong lane. We couldn't turn back around because there's no U-turn. What should we do? They arrested them. They're in jail.
What?
Because they got in the wrong lane going to Mexico.
In other words, they didn't want to go to Mexico.
They didn't. They just, they were on the road and they took some turn.
Oh my God.
And then they couldn't get back out. So the Border Patrol just said, you're going to jail. And they said, but we have valid visas for 10 years. And they said, no, you're in the wrong. No, just jail.
When is this going to end? When is this going to end?
Never.
You know, I mean, I guess we are in a lot of trouble
Never.
now. It's
Trump is running in 2028. That's according to Bennett.
Just gotta vote him out.
But in order to do that, they are actually going to have to amend the Constitution.
No, they don't.
What?
You haven't been following along because you have a constitutional crisis, but then Trump doesn't have to listen. And the other thing is, who's going to run against him? If you raise your hand, he can, what can happen, and he's free.
Jail.
Well, my question is, technically, let's go to our constitutional scholar here, Charlie. No, I mean Josh.
Is the Constitution being followed? That's the question.
Well, I mean, could he find some way to run for a third term, or do they have to really change that constitutional amendment?
Well, there's no constitutional way to do it. They would have to change it, but I don't think that's going to make any difference to anybody.
Yeah, but if he decides
Well,
to
I shouldn't say anybody. It's going to make a big difference to a lot of people. It's not going to make a big difference to his people. So that's the statement should be, I should put it that way instead.
So in other words, he should do that before midterms so that he has the power in Congress? Or does he wait and see what happens and see if he can scare a few Democrats to...
I don't think he'll start mentioning it that soon. I think he'll lay it out there late when it's too late. This is the reason that I have said someone should start running for president right now. And they should start having rallies right now. And they should be on a campaign trail and hitting it hard right now so that people all across America are reminded that there is an election coming up and that there is an alternative and there are other choices. Mm-hmm. They have to start speaking today. If they change it up a little later, then that's fine. But someone needs to start running for president, and they need to start running for president at 11:14 p.m. on March 21st, 2025.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because I
Because
mean,
they need
are
to
you
tell.
talking about a Democrat? Or are you talking about a Republican?
Well, either one, but the Democrats certainly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people need to know. They need to put it out there that there is an election coming. That we are going to have an election.
But I
His
think
plan will be to say that we shouldn't have an election, or it's too corrupt right now to have an election. We haven't fixed all the laws yet. Or there's
I,
just, I'm going to declare an executive order for this crisis.
that's it.
And then there will be four
I
or
think
5 weeks of senators saying, I'm deeply concerned by this and I find this very troubling. And then, they'll all go jerk off or something and they'll come out and be like, well,
here's a
he's
question, Josh.
right.
Can Trump run on both the Republican and Democratic ticket?
It doesn't matter. No one has to run on anything because constitutionally we don't elect by party. We elect by
Yeah.
name, so they don't have to even declare a party in this. I mean,
I think
it's
it'll just
really
be Trump 2028.
irrelevant,
No,
so
no
Yeah,
election.
but my question is, Trump 2028. How old is he going to be?
He'll be older than Biden is now.
88.
He'll be older than Biden is now.
Yeah.
Do you think America wants to vote for somebody who's too old to be president?
no, I don't think America wants to do that at all. But that's what I'm saying.
You're going to think
It's not going
America?
to be about America. It's going to be about what he wants, and it's going to be about he'll have about by that point he'll have about 25% of the country that'll support it. So the question is going to be like, what happens with the other 75%, which is why I'm saying that they need to have an alternative out there and ready, and they need to be wearing down his reputation and his image and his trustworthiness day by day by day, but doing it in a fair way, not by charging him with crimes or torching Tesla dealerships which will just make the other side look stupid. They need to do it politically. They need to run out and have rallies and say that these policies, why they're bad, why they're going to hurt you. Here's what our plan is.
Mhm.
And then they need to say it in a way like he would say it. They need to play some games with their rhetoric. They need to be combative. They need to be abrasive.
Yeah.
And they
You could
need to
appoint Don
teach him a
Jr.
lesson.
But that won't happen, and we're just screwed.
He can appoint Don Jr.
Hmm.
It's like Kim Jong Un, Kim
Yeah.
Jong Il, Kim Il Sung.
That's what he wants.
That's
yeah.
how they do it. Yeah. And nobody will challenge him. He can put him in jail. He can pardon them.
Hmm.
He can have somebody do anything he wants, then pardon them. And if anybody runs against him, he can put him in jail. He has all the powers.
I think that it's. I mean, he's going to try to do something. There's no question about that.
But who's gonna stop
And you
him?
think J.D. Vance is going to do anything? J.D. Vance makes Dan Quayle look like Immanuel Kant.
Yeah. In case people may not remember who Dan Quayle was, for crying out loud. That's that long ago.
Yeah.
But he was the biggest moron we ever had for vice president. That's for damn sure. So I mean, it's going to be sickening. It's going to be a real problem. And I mean, I don't know how long I'm going to live. I may live to be 100, but I'll have to live it without Social Security. And I mean, this guy, I don't know what he's just trying to dismantle the entire government. Today he went in and tried to fire a lot of people over at Social Security. What? Come on. Why? And we talked about this Voice of America thing, the latest things that are happening over at the Justice Department. I mean, the people they're laying off simply because they were assigned to the Jan 6th story and to deal with that. And, they take their marching orders. They go do it. Why do you fire them? Because they were part of that. you know, it's sad. It's really sad, and I'm really frightened for this nation. You know, so
Well, the best thing that could happen is, a judge has said that the Social Security Administration does not have to allow Musk and his people in there, and that they do not have to give them access to the Social Security numbers of everyone in the United States of America that has one. And that's the order, and they don't like it. So his little Social Security administrator says that he'll teach this judge a lesson and he'll just shut down the Social Security Administration. They'll just close it up. They'll just do away with it.
yeah,
No more
Yep.
checks, no more nothing. And I think that would be the absolute best thing that could happen is let everybody in this country see what they voted for.
mm-hmm.
Let them get what they voted for. Let them not get a check for 6 or 8 weeks and see how it goes. And let this bomb go off. And if it does, it will bring about the same thing that the Depression brought about, which is a realization that the only place people have to turn to in hard times is the government, and it will remind them of it, and it will usher in another 5 decades of liberalism for this country. So, that's what'll happen if they do it. So, if they want to shut it down, I say go for it. Schumer says he couldn't shut the government down because Trump never would have reopened it. That's fine. Let's go ahead. Let's start. If we're gonna take this Band-Aid off, let's just go ahead and do it right now. I mean, just let's just go ahead and get it over with. Why wait another 6 weeks or 6 months? I mean,
Up to a lot of
a year. Let's just do it. Just let people get what they said they voted for in this great and mighty victory, this mandate. Then let's do it. And then
Yeah, but how do you
when
think
the farmers around here don't get their checks, for the crops that they didn't grow, and they can't make the payments on their brand new F-350s that
Yep.
they have, and their son has, and their other son has, and the wife has, and the fucking cousin has, and everyone. I think that'd be great. So I say we get started, and we get started today.
Yeah. Let me see here. Jason wants to come in. And if this is Jason, we think it is, fine. But let me just put up my face for a second here because I asked. Is that him? That's a different Jason. Okay.
Is being currently interrupted by the CCP thugging agency. Please remain seated while we deliver our message. Thank you for your attention.
Hold on a second. I'm trying to get rid of it. Are you having fun? Oh boy. Well, okay. He thought he got on, but he didn't because I was smart enough to go to my face. Now we'll go back to you guys.
Although we got to see him.
Yeah. Was it gay or straight?
Yes.
Not sure.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I guess gay. I don't know. I mean,
It was just one guy, so it's hard to
that
say.
one guy that was laying there with his legs in the air, man.
Was that it? Was that it? With a particular item wedged in his?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway.
You know him?
Huh? Oh yeah, I know him. He's a good friend of mine. How dare they run old porn films of me?
Uh-huh.
Oh boy.
Get royalties.
Yeah. Guys should get royalties.
Do you get royalties? Alex, do they get royalties for that on porn films, you think?
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh, they don't.
Sure.
Go collect those.
The only way any porn actor is ever going to make any more money off of doing the actual thing is if he owns it himself and he puts it up himself. Now a Terrell Lewis, forget it. Don't waste your time, okay? I'm not answering any of these now unless I know you. It's ridiculous. I'll just let him sit there. He can sit there. That didn't get on, by the way. If you have any idea of whether you got on or not, you probably felt, oh, I got on. I really made a mess of his show. No, you didn't. because my face was on the screen. But anyway, getting back to what we were talking about, this just really bothers me all the way around because I even though I don't know if I'm going to live that long to have to put up with this, it bothers me that the very country that I believed in could come to this, that this day could come. This was the thing of like science fiction movies, right? So, I mean, it was the thing with science fiction movies and oh, yes, and this happens in the United States, and now the United States becomes a dictatorship and so on and so forth. But we're actually, this is funny. Now they say Tyson's Acosta, because Tyson's Acosta is one of the people in the chat. But he never calls the show, you moron. So anyway, have fun. Anyway, where was I? So, I just don't know what we're going to do about it. And I don't know if this country isn't doomed.
It's too late.
Yeah.
November 5th, it's time to do something about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, there won't be a November 5th.
Well,
No, last November 5th was the time.
well,
We didn't do
look,
it, so we're screwed.
Americans,
You cannot undo.
Huh?
The what is being done, it can't really be. It's going to take decades to figure it out, and even if you wanted to do something, but I don't see it going back.
Yeah.
I think that the cat's out of the bag.
Well,
one thing, he's not going to give up power. He's got people in place that are going to do what he says, and there's nothing we can do about it.
And he can appoint them for further, in 2028. It is legally, technically all lined up. He can just do it.
Well, how do we stop it? Or don't we? Is there no way to stop it? Huh?
You need people with a lot of money.
Well, we should
some of
all.
the oligarchs would have to turn.
Probably we should just all move to Malaysia, right?
You're welcome here.
What were you going to say, Tony?
How's the property? I couldn't move out of the country, Alex. I think this thing. You know what I could see? Me and brother were talking, Alex, what we could see ourselves doing. My brother wants to get a house up in the country. He's thinking about buying. Just to get out of this whole Trump country here. We're so tired of.
Well,
like,
this isn't. We're not in Trump country in New York.
By my Maspeth, Alex, in Middle Village, there's a lot of Trumpers here, Alex. We go walking.
Well, maybe a lot of Trumpers, but you're not living in a Trump area. Okay.
I feel like I am though when I see those flags.
No, this is a city that was really happy when he became president because we got rid of him.
I know.
I
mean, did you? You know what? I was going to tell you guys this. I was scanning some comics in on my store, putting up, right? So I had CNN on, and they cut into his press conference, and he's making fun of like, the lady wants to ask a question. Oh, she's from CNN. Oh, they're not real news, and MSDNBC, whatever he calls them. Yeah. Oh, that's fake news too. It's like I just turned him off now. It's like, you're a fucking scumbag, really. After it's like I can't tolerate him anymore.
Well, I think he's a president of the United States, which carries with it a certain dignity, doesn't it? And yet he is acting like a child who makes fun of other people by making fun of their names, for instance. This is all very childish behavior. We're being actually, the president of our country is a 3-year-old,
Yeah. And you know what I was going to ask you, Alex, too, and you guys this, too. I told my brother this. Remember they keep saying they're finding all this fraud here in Social Security. So then where are the people getting arrested? Show me the people who are doing the fraud.
Well, where's the
guy?
There is no fraud.
There's no fraud. Exactly.
I mean, look. I'm sure in government there is fraud. Okay. Because when you have a country as big as this, with as much money in its federal government and its coffers, there are going to be people somewhere, someplace, trying to scam the system. But the greater good is being served by most of the people getting what they deserve to have. Now, for instance, when it comes to Social Security, they can't take that away from me. They owe that to me. They took it from me. They took it from me. You know, they took it from me, and they
give us the
yeah, they owe it to me. But to want to do away with programs which help older people, people who have physical problems, mental problems, all kinds of things, even who live in poverty. To not want to help those people is not what this country is all about. That's why I paid taxes all these years, because it's kind of like we all batch our money together and then we spread it out to take care of people who need it. And I may never need it, but I want it, if I have to have it, it just bothers me. It's just so selfish, and it's not what I was told this country was about when I was growing up and going to school. So
I got to give him credit though, Alex. He brought out those scumbag people who voted for him.
Well, I don't think they're all scumbag people. Okay, I think that is too easy to do.
I think that's right. 50% of them are scumbags, but the other 50% are just average people.
And they're average people who felt they weren't getting represented correctly. Yeah. And he convinced them that he would do it. Well, he was president once before and he didn't do it. What makes him think he's going to do it this time? And what has he done?
I don't know.
To begin with, somebody mentioned here, I think, he hasn't passed a single law.
Everything's executive order.
Everything's in executive order. There are no laws he's passed. Because that would make him have to go to Congress and get them to do the work. And he doesn't know how to do that. So he just writes all these executive orders. And, of course, the courts are taking about 90% of these things and throwing them back in his face. But he's still doing them. You know,
he should watch Schoolhouse Rock. They should sit him down and watch the cartoon Schoolhouse Rock. This is the bill. I think he's just a moron, really, totally.
Well, look, Trump is not, he's not a moron, but he's an ill-informed human being. There's no question about that. He's not a moron. Don't try and call him a moron. Don't try and call the people who voted for him morons. They're simply naive. They believe that he made a promise to them and that he was going to keep it. And those are the same people that are now showing up at these GOP meetings that these senators and congressmen are holding in their home areas, and they're just eating them alive. And those are Republicans. Those aren't Democrats going to those.
And they're trying to say it's a setup. Those are all fake. No, they're not.
No, the people who were invited to go to them are members of the Republican Party.
And you know who's doing good, guys, too, Alex? Bernie Sanders is on tour with AOC. They're drawing
huge crowds. Huge crowds.
Yeah.
AOC is drawing huge crowds, and Bernie Sanders is drawing huge crowds. Because everybody wants to hear what they have to say.
But there's a problem there in that they can't deliver. I tell you, it's always Coke and Pepsi. We're just getting direct Coke syrup now.
Well, they can't deliver. They can't deliver because they don't have the power to deliver. But they do have the power to speak out on what they believe. And Bernie Sanders does it in a very good way. I mean, I think he's terrific. And I think AOC is really coming up there. You know, she's gotten really good at what she does.
Oh, I'm voting for her.
I'd vote for her in a second. Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think she's going to run for president. And Bernie Sanders, for a guy his age, he's feisty. He is really feisty. I give him
credit, Alex.
Actually, they have to run. It has to be, Sanders AOC, because you need to have star power. So unless they get Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, nobody's going to listen to them, and it'll just be Trump railroading through. You have to get somebody who has the star power.
Well, Bernie's like 85 years old. There's no
He's,
way he
he's
Doesn't
sharp.
matter. Trump is 84.
He's sharper than Trump will ever be, Bernie, I think.
Yeah, well, I think that AOC is going to be somebody to be reckoned with in a few years. And I wish she would run for senator here in New York against, what's his name? Schumer.
She would beat him, Alex, I think, probably.
She could give him a good run for his money. And if she does it in a year when she's not running for Congress, although that's pretty hard to do. That's pretty hard to do.
It's every 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's always going to be a congressional election.
Yeah, so that even if you went when Schumer did it every 6 years, you would have to give up your congressional seat in order to run for Senate. So, is it possible to run for the Senate and the Congress at the same time?
I don't know.
Let's go.
Depends on the state.
How about you, Josh? How do you feel about that? Can you run for both offices at the same time?
I don't know. The state laws may have something on that.
You can't in Texas.
Yeah, I don't
cannot
think.
run for two offices at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean,
Texas. I don't know.
If she ran against Schumer, I'd get out there and help her cause. You know, I'd go to lick stamps or something. I don't know, whatever it takes. But you know, I mean, I think she's gotten good and she's feisty and she doesn't change her ideals. You know, they're solid and I don't have any argument with them.
Trump will deport her.
Yeah.
Never get to run. Trump will deport her.
Yeah, right. Right.
I'm serious. He will do that to anybody that has any chance of beating it.
What was I thinking about them?
Never elected back in office.
I'm wondering. I was thinking about deporting, and there was somebody I was thinking about. Can they deport them? And I can't remember who it was now. So I'm, you know.
They're deporting people to other countries, not even the country they came from.
Right. Right. Well, a lot of those people are going to Nicaragua and where else? What's the other country?
Venezuela.
Venezuela. Yeah, Venezuela, and many of those people never came from those countries.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, the one around here is Laos. They deported somebody to Laos, and she said she doesn't have any idea.
Well, what I don't understand is. They're deporting all these people to Nicaragua and Venezuela, but how does Venezuela and Nicaragua feel about that? Are they getting paid to take these people?
Yeah, we're paying them millions and millions of dollars to take them.
So it's costing us.
There's one country that's not taking them back. I thought it was Venezuela that it.
No, the two countries that are taking them are Venezuela and Nicaragua. Okay. But a lot of these people come from Mexico. You know, they keep saying they're part of the what's that crime organization?
MS-13.
MS-13.
Oh, MS-13, yeah.
Yeah, that's Mexico.
Yeah.
You know. So anyway, yeah, I don't understand. It makes no sense to me, and it's not the country I was taught about when I was in school. It's not the one that I believed existed. You know, and I've had my doubts over the years, but I've never had it so proven to me that it's possible that this country could disappear as a democracy and become whatever it's going to become. Oh, it'll continue to call itself a democracy.
Oh, yeah.
That it will do. That's the great myth.
Yeah.
You know, if you tell a lie enough times, it becomes true.
Well, Russia says it's a democracy. Putin claims he wins by a democracy.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. I mean, where do you think this is all going, Josh? I mean, and Kevin too, and all of you. Where's it going? Where's it going to wind up? Is are we just being overly fearful, or do we have Trump derangement syndrome? What is it?
Well, I mean, it's up to the people, and there are not, you know, there's not a majority of the country that supports Trump or his policies. It's slightly less, and I'm sure that number will shrink with time, given that they are going to lose goods and services that they didn't realize they were going to lose when they voted for him. So as his popularity decreases, and I'm sure that it will, it did in the first term, and he's taking more radical steps in this term than he did in the last, which will hurt Americans and will hurt his popularity. So it's up to the people. I mean, Congress could stop him at any time if they would just start acting like Congress, and they will start acting like Congress when they are fearful that they will no longer get to stay in Congress. So when the people make it clear to them that they do not want these policies, these executive orders, these things done, whatever they may be, they will wake up and realize that, and they will start putting a stop to it. And then courts will start putting a stop to some of it. And then if he tries to defy some of that, but Congress is waking up, they will find a way to stop him from doing that, So enough people just have to make it clear. That's what I say is some pain inflicted upon people, as much as I don't want it, I want it, because that's what's going to have to happen. I mean...
But you know what? You know what they've got. What's got to happen here is these congressmen are going back to their districts. They're holding their town halls, and they're getting yelled at by the very people who elected them.
Mm-hmm,
and yet they stand there, and they don't back down. They keep defending Trump. They keep defending Musk. They keep doing all of that in spite of the fact they're seeing those very people who vote for them.
Right, so far, but they need to keep saying it. And if they keep saying it, and election season rolls around and they see a poll that says, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose, that's going to change their mind. Because their loyalty to Trump won't matter anymore when they're no longer a congressman or they're no longer a senator. So it won't get them anything anymore. They're on board that train because they believe that's a solid, the destination is a solid re-election without worry. And it's a connection to staying in power and having some power and some clout. When you take that away, they don't have a reason to continue to act that way, right?
Yeah.
Well, the only thing that will change behavior is a change in what the behavior gets you, right? If you behave a certain way and you get something good for it, you will continue to behave a certain way, right?
Yeah.
If you behave a certain way and you don't get the result anymore, I mean, people wouldn't take drugs if they didn't get high, right? If I took a pill and it didn't make me high, would I keep taking the pill? Would I keep using the heroin? You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. When the result goes away, they'll change their behavior. And
well, we have to remember they are all whores after all.
Sure.
And they want to get reelected. But how they can go to these town meetings and delude themselves into thinking that these are people that were set up by the Democrats or paid to go there and do what they're doing is ridiculous. And then they stand up there, if you've seen any of these, they stand up there and they defend Trump and they defend Musk and they defend all the things that are indefensible at this point.
But see, the thing is, I don't think that it's I don't think it's
hold on a second, Bree. Charlie had his hand up, and I want to go to him, and then I'll go to you.
They have to, because Musk has said he's going to primary any Republican that even says something against what Trump is doing.
Well, there's going to be but there are going to be other Republicans in those primaries as well who disagree with it, and maybe those people will then primary those congressmen out, and somebody new will be running. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, they can primary whoever they want. They're still going to have to run against an opposition candidate.
Yeah. But some people may not want to vote for a Democrat, because right now the Democratic positive percentage out there in the polls that have been taken, who have a good feeling about the Democrats, is 29%.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the
part of that is
lowest.
driven by the fact that the members of their own party are dissatisfied with him and they are voting negative. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so that's driving that number. For one, because if you were to ask everybody on this panel if they support the Democratic Party's vision, everyone's going to say no, right? So, that's the thing. But the difference is if you ask that question in a few months, if Social Security checks have stopped coming out, ask that question in a few months if the Department of Agriculture is no longer providing insurance to back up for crop insurance and farmers have to go buy it on the private market. Ask that question in a year when the student loan crisis crashes because the Department of Education is gone and they've jacked up all the loans for people and people can't pay them anymore and they end up bankrupt. Ask that question when the government backed loans from student loans, the $1.6 trillion is guaranteed by the government and the government refuses to pay two or three of the largest banks in the world who agreed to give out this money on the agreement that they had with the government. And then when they no longer can get the money from the people and the government won't give it to them, those big banks have some pretty good clout out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
These lenders who thought they were going to get their $1.6 trillion with interest and to come to find out they're going to get fucked, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you take away all the government protections and the agreements that come with student loans, for example, okay, if you take us out of that program and you just convert it to a private loan and you say, nope, we're converting this to a private loan, you got to pay it in 10 years, and you take it out of a government program, the newsflash is you also remove the stipulation that says you can't file bankruptcy on this anymore. So you're going to have a whole lot of people out there who are going to be like, oh, you mean I could just trash my credit and wipe this $150,000 debt away? I'll take that deal today. That's fine. I mean, these are crises that are going to develop that people are not understanding. And it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen by next Friday's show, right? But 18 months from now, if this shit doesn't, get under control, there are going to be a lot of people, an overwhelming amount of people that voted for him whose lives are drastically different, and they're going to understand that they're drastically different because they voted for him. And even the stupid ones are going to be like, oh, I really fucked up here,
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. This was dumb. And if that really happens, it's going to do exactly what happened in the 1930s and exactly what happened in the 1960s. And it may very well blow up in the Republicans' faces and usher in several decades of a renewal of liberalism on the cycle that these things go in.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Well, let's see. Let me bring something else up here. The big deal now is the trashing of Tesla dealerships and the blowing up of Tesla cars. How many approve of this
Not
here?
me.
I do. But
I don't really mind it at
am
all.
I the only one?
I don't have a problem.
I
with
want you to remember
BYD
something.
cars
I
are
want
much
you to remember
better. We got
something.
BYD
should.
here.
But I think you've got to remember that these are Tesla dealerships, and who owns the Tesla dealerships?
Tesla.
Elon Musk.
Tesla.
Yeah.
Elon Musk. It's not like you're going to some local car dealer whose entire life is dependent upon what he has in this car lot.
Well,
It's
here's the other thing.
Wait a minute. Wait, hold on a second. It's Elon Musk, and what bothers me is that people get so upset about the destruction of property, not lives, property. But
They don't care, yeah,
but the
exactly.
destruction of lives, they don't give a crap about.
Let's cut their medical insurance, but you know what? They're scratching that car. Holy shit, which is insured.
Yeah, but anyway,
stupid.
what were you
Who
gonna say, Bree?
Well, there are better options now. We have a dealership just down the street, BYD, Build Your Dream. They're better electric cars and they're cheaper. And so people buy them now more than Tesla. But in the States, they put the tariff 100%.
Yeah.
So essentially, what you're doing is you are funding mediocrity. You're basically saying, we're not going to let the market decide. We're going to just let Elon Musk make money here.
They want to flee.
The problem with that is,
Hold on a
if
second.
you look at it globally, Tesla's going to go down because in all the markets where they can't do that, BYD is going to eat them for lunch. And basically what you're doing is you're going against the market principle, which is what we've always excelled at in the States. And so I don't understand it, and to me, it doesn't look like a smart move.
Well, it may not be a smart move, but what I'm saying is, who are you affecting? Who are you damaging? You're damaging Trump. I mean Trump. You're Trump too, but Elon Musk.
You're also damaging the people that work for him.
Well,
not really.
Not really.
You're out of a job if you.
Hey, they're going to be out of a job. A lot of them are going to be out of a job anyway because Teslas are not selling like they were.
And the stock's in the shit can.
And the stock is in the shitter, and 50%. This stock has dropped 50%, and I don't think that's going to change.
Charlie, they're more worried about the stock. They don't care about the cause. If its stock goes down, then they start firing people.
So those people who you say are going to lose their job because they've been burning up the cars.
No,
the fact is, those people are going to be out of a job anyway. So, quite frankly, I just don't. I see it as a non-starter issue, and the fact that the government wants to charge these people with terrorism. I mean, come on, I mean, this is simply
vandalism.
Yeah, this is simply a piece of metal that is being torched. Okay, it's not a human being. There's nobody sitting in the car. There's nobody near the car. They were done at night when nobody was even working there.
Well, there are people that work at night.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't see anybody. I didn't see the lights on. Let me put it that way. Yeah.
Somebody's gonna keep doing this. Somebody's gonna die.
Well, I think these people are probably pretty careful of what they're doing. But anyway, yes, Tony.
Yeah, and it's like in the 70s, Alex, when they tried, they were doing graffiti all over the place. They just cleaned it. It's no one's gonna die over scratching a car. And did you ever think it was an inside job, maybe that he's doing this to push his narrative, Trump?
I mean, you're gonna find people, I think, not buying Teslas for one very basic reason, and that is try and get an insurance company to insure your Tesla.
Yeah, it's gonna be on fire in a week.
If cars are getting keyed and cars are getting trashed because people are driving a Tesla. I mean, I don't like it to happen to people who own them because they bought these before there was a problem with Elon. Okay, but nevertheless, the insurance company is going to get to a point where they just won't insure a Tesla.
Yep.
So good. Lower the value on a Tesla. And people want to get rid of their Teslas. I wonder what kind of price they're going to get for turning them in, or if any dealership will give them a trade-in on a Tesla right now.
I mean, look at it like this too. The cause really is a moot point because it's everybody. The real red flag is like you said. His stock is down what, 80%?
No.
It's
50%.
It's even, and it's going sooner or later. They're going to tell him, "Hey, listen, if it keeps going down, he's going to have to step away." And that's the only thing he understands is losing money.
Well,
the board of directors may say, "Hey, listen, you step away because this is how people are protesting him. They're hitting him in his pocket. They're selling the stock.
Okay,
that's what they're doing."
Okay. Anybody else want to chime in here with anything? Yes, Jeff.
You're muted.
You're on mute.
You're muted. Yeah. Let me see here. I think.
Okay. How's it now?
Mm-hmm.
They got a lot of government money to invest in developing their product. And because of that, they got a lot of government money.
No, they didn't get a lot of government money to do that. No.
I disagree.
No. Anybody agree with me that they didn't really get any real money to develop Tesla? No.
I don't know.
They might have gotten some EPA grants or something, but I don't know how
I think they
much
got some money
Tesla.
some money that when you bought an electric car, the government gave you like $5,000.
Yeah, and that had to come from somewhere.
Yeah, but that's about as close as it comes to them, taking care of that, So
I don't know.
I heard more than that, but
I mean,
maybe
he
I'm
might be
wrong.
right, Jeff, about that.
What?
Yeah.
Jeff might be right on that because like, he's not doing anything without getting something in return.
Well, no, but he developed that car on his own. The company
No,
developed
that's not
it.
true.
Yes, he did. Yes,
He
did.
bought the
Somebody
rights from
Well, he
everything.
bought the rights to the
Yeah.
idea
He
and
bought the
everything.
idea. Yeah.
Yeah. But then he went ahead and he was very good at merchandising it and getting people in on the idea of getting it. But I don't think the government subsidized to any great extent the development of Tesla.
You'd have to see.
Yeah.
I think that you'll find somehow they had a lot of difficulties in the batteries. And you could say, well, somebody else really did the work.
They still have trouble with the batteries.
All right. Now, from what I hear, that General Motors and Ford and other companies are already producing battery products. And they work pretty fine for them.
Well, part of the problem is that a lot of the batteries for the electric cars is being produced by Tesla. And so a lot of these companies have to get their batteries from Tesla. So, actually, it was funny in the beginning, if I'm not mistaken, all these batteries were with a bunch of batteries glued together. Little, small rechargeable batteries.
Probably true.
And they've developed them beyond that now. And yes.
I just did a Google. According to NPR article, Elon Musk companies Tesla and SpaceX have received at least $38 billion in government funding.
Wait a minute, you're talking about and SpaceX.
But $38 billion in funding, contracts, loans, subsidies, and tax credits.
No, but they threw Tesla in there. But the fact is that that's about the money they were putting in for the SpaceX project.
SpaceX, yeah.
Well, it's Tesla and SpaceX combined.
Well, yeah, but SpaceX got the majority of that.
Have to spike out what Tesla got.
Yeah, they got billions of dollars for SpaceX because
They still do.
NASA is also using SpaceX rockets as their rockets. So it's more SpaceX than it is Tesla. Tesla was already pretty well established when SpaceX came into existence.
Yeah.
So,
I think that there's a lot of people who are unhappy with that product.
Oh yeah.
I'm talking about the car, and some of them are trying to get rid of it. And
I'll tell you,
I
I got to disagree with you on that one, Jeff. I know people who've had Teslas and people who talk about Teslas, and they have nothing but good things to say about them. Nothing but good things. I mean, a few might get a dud or something like that, but I've heard they say nothing but good things about them. So I think the only thing they're bothered by is, they'd like to get better mileage out of the batteries, things like that, but better charging times. But that's all a matter of the technology improving. But anyway, let me start the theme here because, we have run out of time here for the most part. Who knows? I mean, I'm just really overly depressed about this today. The news comes on and I find that people are just all around losing their rights. Anyway, Jeff, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. It's good of you to join us tonight. Charlie Wallace, always good to hear from you. Kevin, thanks for sending the picture. Okay. Josh, thank you for helping us this evening. Coming back into frame again with his camera following him is the lovely and attractive Bree, who's out there in Malaysia because he's too chicken to come home and be in this country and not be a coward and join the misery that's being caused for us. No, you go trotting off to Malaysia. What? You're looking for rubber trees? What are you looking for over there?
Palm sugar.
Yeah, palm sugar. Anyway, thank you very much, Tony. Really appreciate it. And thank you to Alan, who left us for most of the hour. So Why'd you leave us? Did you have something to do?
Lost my internet.
You lost your internet?
Gotta pay the bill. I'm joking.
Well,
Now I found it.
no, okay, I'm glad you found it. Anyway, everybody give a big wave
Have a nice
goodbye.
weekend, Al. Bye, guys.
And I'll give a big wave goodbye at you. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Anyway, that's our citizen panel for tonight. We'll have another citizen panel on Monday with the pop-up show, which I really enjoy. We'll also see you on Wednesday, okay? Right here, right back here. Meanwhile, stay tuned for Amy Manuel. She's here with The Intersection, and we'll see you again, as I say, next week, and right back here on Wednesday. Same time, same station in life. In the meantime, if you see her, I better hurry up. Tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody.